We've got Chris on technical, Neil on insight, and Steve in the driving seat. It's Talking Formula One.
Hello and welcome to Talking Formula One, our first show of 2026. We are back. Hope you all had a fantastic Christmas and New Year. It feels like so long ago because January does go on for about 3 or 4 months by itself. But we're getting towards the end of it. How are you, Chris?
Very, very good. How are you?
Yes, not too bad, thank you. We may be joined by Neil. Who knows? We'll wait and see. Did you have a good festive period? Oh, there you go. He's around. How was your Christmas and New Year?
Oh yeah, no, it was good. Chilled. It wasn't at work. No work, which is brilliant.
Fantastic.
How about yours?
Very nice. Yeah, good to spend it with the family. A bit of time away from work. Can't go wrong. And it's over fast and quickly as always.
No F1 though. It's a bit dull sometimes.
Yeah, no Formula One, but we're getting back into it. We are getting there slowly. We've already had a few car launches. We've seen Racing Bulls, the Red Bull, the Haas, the Audi. And there's been
The Alpine had a little peak out today, didn't it? In the old blizzard of Silverstone. So
yeah. Cadillac's been out running as well. So we're getting there. We are slowly getting back into the F1 season now. So we've had the Red Bull, the Racing Bulls. They had a massive event, obviously with the Ford unveiling. Neil, good evening, Neil.
Hello.
How are you?
Oh, hello, Neil. How are we, Neil? You all right, Neil?
Loving life.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sure, you look like you're going skiing with that bloody thing on.
Haven't been home long, so the heating's not been on, and it's a little bit chilly.
You'll be sweating. Fantastic. Good Christmas?
Yeah, not too bad.
Good. I will just say now, I hope my camera doesn't drop out because twice it has dropped out. So we seem to be back in those days again. So if it does, then talk amongst yourselves. But we'll certainly see. Just saying, it's obviously been a long, it feels like a long old winter, but it's not, has it really? It's only been a short winter. You know, it was early December, the final race, and early January, and we're already looking at the new cars. So it doesn't really feel as much of an off-season this year.
No.
Months.
I don't know, it just feels a little bit strange for me this pre-season. Normally we're really looking forward to the dates where each team is definitely doing a livery and all that, and then we've got pre-season with the old test and that, but that's all going to be behind closed doors, so it's just a bit of a weird one, really.
Why are they doing a test behind closed doors, do you think? Is it because it's new regulations and they're a bit afraid that everything's just going to go up in smoke? All these new regulations.
Bahrain have paid for the privilege of the first test, so they agreed to let them have a test beforehand, but it had to be completely closed off, no liveries, no cameras, no videos, nothing.
That's no fun.
No.
I like seeing testing. I'm one of the few that enjoys watching pre-season testing.
Yep, me too.
Don't believe that a lot of the teams with their scaremongering of whether they'll be able to complete laps at full pace and all that sort of thing. Whether that sort of had anything to do with it.
There's been a few words out there, isn't there? I know Laura Meckies from Red Bull was saying that it could be a struggle because they've got obviously the new Ford power plant, or Red Bull badged Ford power plant in the back. They've been downplaying it a lot, haven't they? Really, no one's come out and really said. Well, I suppose they would come out and say, "Yeah, we've got a good one here."
I think the customer cars would be difficult. Sorry, I thought the customer cars might be having a bit of teething troubles because obviously they're with the works cars, they're built around the engine, aren't they? They've got it first hand, they can do things, whereas the customers have to wait and things.
Yeah. That's where Audi have got the Ferrari, not Audi, Cadillac have got the Ferrari internals of the gearbox, but they've made a whole new casing for it.
Okay, interesting. Bold strategy.
Could be, it's going to be teething problems, but they'll none of them will run at full pace, not until we're in Australia. I think they'll all be batshit scared of showing signs of weakness for a start. They don't want the Honda of 10 years ago scenario.
Well, the latest thing I've heard is obviously trying to downplay the Mercedes engine now, and they're saying, they haven't showed it yet because it's actually having teething problems and it's not as bulletproof and as amazing as...
Wasn't it issue integrated into their car? or something. I may have misread it, but I thought they had an issue integrating into the car actual itself. But I mean, I heard the Ferrari fire up, and that sounded uninspiring. If I'm honest.
At most, from what we've seen of the little bits of track footage, they sound louder, but it's the same drone because we're not having the scream of the higher res.
You can hear the battery when the battery kicks in, especially the ones on straights. The one I've seen on straights, you can just hear when the battery takes over.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard the Audi fired up, or we heard the Audi running, and that sounds pretty meaty. To be fair, the Audi engine sounds quite nice. I'll be disappointed if the Ford in the back of the Red Bull doesn't sound like a Mark II or Mark III Transit. That would be a letdown because that would be fantastic when they get to Bahrain and it sounds like that. It's I've heard so many conflicting things. Mercedes have absolutely nailed it. They found this loophole, and then suddenly it's Mercedes are having a few troubles here and there. So it's like, don't.
Yeah, you got to love all the headlines of this one with they've cheated, but they haven't cheated at all. It's just people being moronic with their way of describing it.
Yeah, it's loopholes. Yeah, there's always loopholes.
All murmurs.
Find a loophole.
There'll be murmurs. They'll be sandbagged and looked after the engines all through pre-season testing because it'd all be about getting mileage on them. That's all they want is just to get mileage on the components, and they couldn't give a monkeys. Well, they'll know secretly how quick they are and how reliable they are, but they won't try and let it out. So we shall see. Someone will try and work it out, won't they?
I heard a few of the teams and drivers have got in contact with guys in Formula E for basically making the battery last and have ways to get performance while still saving energy.
I never thought I'd see Formula One actually asking a Formula E for tips. That's not how it should be.
But that's where McLaren lose out because they let their team go. So they haven't got one anymore.
So we've had four cars have been launched so far. I mean, the Audi wasn't obviously the proper one. It was the show car. And it would probably look quite a bit different by the time we get to the testing into the first race. But we've seen the Red Bull, or certainly liveries on the Red Bull, the Racing Bulls, the Haas, and the Audi. So I think there's four quite decent-looking cars there.
We've gone very much back to cars that they look like, 10 odd years ago. Now it's an outwash. You've got the Coke sort of style rear engine cover, obviously putting the airflow down because it's got the rake now. So we've got the rake back. No flats. Should be no porpoising. That should be gone.
Yeah.
Also, the shark fins are back.
Max came out, didn't he? He said he hated the porpoising of the last lot of cars. You could have like 9G force going through your spine in places. Yeah.
Didn't they? I saw that Lewis and George Russell both. They asked if the Mercedes engineers team who designed or whatever wanted to have a go in their real life simulator with what they had at Baku and going for going through the straight, and health and safety officer said they couldn't do it.
Incredible.
That's brilliant.
I do like a shark fin on a Formula One car. So it's nice to see them sort of coming back as well. I do like this new design. It looks good. Are there any sort of liveries which are standing out to you so far? I've only had 4, but
Red Bull's Red Bull, isn't it?
It's very bright red, nice. Not red. Sorry, bright blue, isn't it? It's more shiny blue than I thought. I thought they might stick more towards but I suppose Ford is quite a shiny blue, isn't it? On the badge.
Part of the reason why they lightened the blue slightly, but they've gone back to gloss, whereas
it's very
the sister team haven't. They've kept matte.
I prefer the matte.
Yeah. I prefer the gloss. It's very 2010, very sort of Vettel era Red Bull. I like it.
That was shining the lights. Very nice, won't it?
Well, all the night race we bloody have now, it will look lovely.
Well, it's been said of late that the matte doesn't actually give you much of an advantage aerodynamically anyway. It might be a weight saving, but if the teams don't need it at this minute.
That's what I mean. You know the teams don't need a weight save at the minute because Haas have actually painted the car.
Yeah. Well, there's a rule now, isn't there? So a certain percentage of the car has to be covered in paint and sponsors and stickers.
Yeah. But they've got loads of sponsors as well. I'm surprised how many sponsors they've got. Not been around. I mean, Whereas they went mainly black just so they can get carbon fibre everywhere with a little bit of white here and there. It's actually pretty decent livery, I thought, the Haas one.
I think of all the ones we've seen so far, that's probably my pick. I really like that.
Yeah, I think that's the one I'd go for.
The Toyota Gazoo Racing logo quite well on the front wing, a bit like Red Bull on the front wing. It kind of it looks in place, unlike the HP on Ferrari.
Yeah,
I think the Audi's a little bit of a letdown for me. Plus, the last one I looked, the red looked a bit more orange, but I don't know whether in the proper sunlight.
The papaya always looks very different in certain lights, doesn't it? Especially at night races, it's more glowy orange, burnt orange.
It's just
I think the sponsors and the numbers make it look slightly better, but it's still
They haven't got very many sponsors, which is quite weird for a German team. Really, German a lot of sponsors. Sponsor on it.
So what has thrown me is it's called the R26. That's just going to remind me of the 06 Renault now.
Yeah, I saw the comparison one. Which one's better?
Yeah, well,
one won a world championship, one didn't. So
yeah, I think it's even though we're Audi, I'm sure will be fine. I think it's a bit too early to say they're going to be fighting for a world championship this year, unless they've absolutely nailed it and done a brawn here.
Well, they'd be aiming for points, wouldn't they? So that's all they'll be aiming for. Especially Hulkenberg with his 50,000 bonus per point.
I was going to say I heard about this. Very reminiscent of Raikkonen at Lotus, isn't it? For every point he earns, an extra 50 grand. Yeah. By the end of the year, it's like, well, we're done. We're out of business. Damn it. Nico's got his world championship, and Audi are done.
He can't be expecting to get many points if they've given a bonus per point. He turns up and gets 100 points.
I mean, looking at the sort of the pecking order, I think it's really close. It's certainly the midfield is going to be really close to the likes of Racing Bulls, Haas, Williams, Audi, those are things. But I think the one thing that probably is certain is that slowest is most likely going to be Cadillac. It's probably one of the. I
think it's just because they're rented very late. Whereas Audi, brought Sauber years ago. They've kept it as Sauber as a transition well. Whereas Cadillac, only 12? How long ago was it? 18 months ago they got the entry.
Not even that.
And they've had to start from scratch. So Audi have brought Sauber. They've got a ready-made team. Whereas Audi have had to. Not Audi, sorry. Cadillac have had to start from scratch. They've had to employ every single person in every single position, including the tea lady. So. They're not going to be that competitive.
You think all of what went on, they had to basically sign a team without even knowing if they were going to make it onto the grid.
Yeah,
it reminds me of sort of 2010 when you had the four teams, the four new entries. You had Lotus, HRT, Hispania as they were then, Virgin Racing, and USF1. And they signed them all, and they all had a place on the grid. But USF1 folded before it even made a car. They signed a driver, and then they just never made it.
How much was it? Was it 50 million quid they had to burn through just to get on the, get an entry?
Yeah.
It's like a non-refundable deposit sort of thing.
They had a factory, they had some staff, they had a driver signed. It was a Jose Maria Lopez they signed. They had a factory and everything, but they just didn't have the money. So they never had a car. They never paid the money. Well, they never paid. Couldn't get the sponsorship, and then they were refused in the end, and the whole thing got shut down, didn't it? And they were banned from entering, which was a shame because it would have been a four-way battle to be last on that season, which I think went to Hispania in the end. There you go. Metal Jace, good evening, welcome in. I like the Haas livery as always. They do have pretty cars, Haas. Historically, the only car I can think that Haas have done which wasn't nice was the 2021 not Russian flag liveried Haas. It's not Russian.
That was only liveried for a certain reason.
Yeah, it wasn't that flag. It was just those colours in that order, as they said.
But it wasn't offensive either, was it? Really, it was sort of. It was all right.
It was unimpressive. I think the black and gold, Rich Energy one, that was the best one.
Very good. Well, the rich energy, no goodbye, and there was no sponsorship.
I wasn't a fan of that.
I like that. But they tried a bit too hard to be the Lotus, but they didn't work, did it?
Yeah, it reminded me of Lotus too much, really.
Only one team can really pull off black and gold. So, looking ahead to 2026, obviously, whole new regulations. It could really upset the pecking order. Are there any teams you expect to hit the ground running or struggle? Anyone that sort of stick out in mind at all? in the early impressions?
Well, if the Mercedes engine is decent, then Renault will hope to not be propping up all the other teams.
Oh yeah, Alpine. Forgot about them. Just the other team. I was thinking. Oh yeah.
It's the midfield team doesn't take the opportunity to put themselves in the mixer. I think probably Williams are probably the best ones. I reckon they've got the right people in the right areas. Got good trial up. Well, I don't think Albon's world champion, but Sainz is decent. So I think Williams might be I wouldn't say surprise package because they were the fifth or sixth best team last year, but I reckon the ones to move forward.
I still don't like the fact that they keep downplaying. They're still very much saying, "Oh, we're building," but when will they stop building and actually start being where they're planning on being?
Well, Val said a couple of years when he took over, he said, "We don't care about 2024. We don't care about 2025. 2026 is the focus." And 2025, considering they didn't care about it, was bloody good. A couple of podiums, fifth place, considering they've been fighting at the back row and towards the back of the grid for a long time. I said last year they'd score a podium. They got 2. So I was doubly happy with that. I'm going to go out on a limb here and say they're going to win a race. They're going to win a race in 2026. And it's going to be Sainz.
You win the first race, you'll be spaffing everywhere.
Absolutely. I haven't seen my team win a race since 2012. You're bloody right.
Oh, what a driver he was.
Yeah, let's not go to that one. Yeah, it's going to be Sainz. I can honestly say it'll be Sainz because Albon tailed off in the second half of the season when Sainz had really picked up. Imagine if they were both on form through the duration. They could have had a few more podiums. But yeah, I think Williams, I'm not even saying it as a Williams fan, I think Williams could be the surprise package just because they have been doing something pretty good.
I think Aston Martin need a year, I think. They're going to have a few teething problems, I think. Newey's going to go quite aggressive, I would expect. And with the Honda isn't always the best out of the gate when it comes to a new regulation. But
they're another one, though, aren't they, where they keep going, next year. Right. Well, when you're putting all this effort into it, when are you actually going to?
Yeah.
I've not heard anything about Honda. That's the thing. No one's said anything whether they're good, they're bad, they're ugly. It's just Honda. No one knows.
Was it them that released pictures of their engine, and one side had was it where the MGUK would be, and then the other side was blurred out. So there's question marks on which side it's going to be and what the whole cover-up is.
Yeah.
It's blur out. What's the point of even releasing a picture?
Yeah. This is it. Trust me. I don't know. You've heard, there's been people who've been saying things about the Mercedes power units. People have heard and said things about the Ferrari. But yeah, Honda have sort of been quietly going about their business, haven't they, really? I mean, we've heard the Audi and people have said, looking pretty good. But the Honda one's always been a little bit, you don't really know. I'm intrigued
by the Honda engine and Ferrari to an extent. Because you remember back in 2009 with the regulation change then, it was the interpretation of the translation of the rule book that found the double diffuser. It was that Japanese man who rules differently because he interprets it differently when translating it.
Yeah.
And you think can something like that happen again when you're translating something, doesn't always translate directly and you can read something completely different to when it's in someone's mother language. So that might be the case. They might come up with something special like that again. I doubt it though.
It's a tricky one, isn't it? Because you have got a really good opportunity for someone to do a brawn, which I think it would just always be referred to as, and absolutely turn up out of the blocks and nail it.
Are the rules open for that sort of thing?
Sorry, Neil?
Are the rules open enough for that sort of thing these days?
Well, they found this compression loophole, haven't they, that everybody's barking on about. So
yeah, that's
also the aerodynamic.
It's got to be 16-1, but that's just when it's cold. Well,
they'll modify it. All the teams will have that loophole by the third race, fourth race, I would have thought. But they are expecting the aerodynamics to be more of a factor once the engines have been reliable, because it's the aero that will make the gains, obviously. So who's read the rules, regulations in a certain way that says, well, actually, we can have this little thing here, this actuator that creates like a 400 DRS.
They're making out, no more DRS, but we've still got wings that are going to go flat, so we've still got DRS.
You don't deploy, is it?
A
It's
rebrand.
Yeah.
DRS still exists. It's no longer an overtaking tool, is it? It's just there on the car.
DRS in a fancy suit is what that is.
It's
To make it that they can actually manage to hopefully go flat out down the straights.
Yeah.
It's IndyCar push to pass now, isn't it?
Yeah. But this is sort of why I'm fairly confident with Aston Martin, because when you were saying about reading the rule book and sort of interpreting things in a different way, Newey is an absolute genius at that. So, you know,
He chucks it in ChatGPT and then sees what it comes out with.
Yeah. He's that's his entire method now. You know, ever since he's been in Formula One, his cars mostly have been successful. He's always had a way of reading the rules in a different way. You know, the Red Bulls he came up with, you know, the Williams and McLarens back in the day. Whether it will have given him enough time to have an input, a realistically good input on this year's car, who knows? Was it midway through last year he joined? Because it was after the Horner thing.
April, he left April because he went to the Monaco Grand Prix, didn't he? But he wasn't allowed to be in gear.
Oh, that's it. Yeah. So coming up for a year, well, give you a few months' time since he left, will he have been able to have enough of an input? It depends how early Aston switch development's 2026, but yeah, I'm fairly confident they're going to have something certainly better than they've had the past couple of seasons, maybe more akin to sort of 2023 when Fernando was picking up those nice early podiums.
Yeah, and you can't deny they've got the resources. You know, the resources there. They got the money. Got built a whole brand new factory, new wind tunnel. But he apparently found out the wind tunnel wasn't giving the right results.
Oh, brilliant!
So that had to be recalibrated or something.
The favourite words of correlation.
Yeah, correlation didn't exist.
But they've got the factory, they've got the tunnel, they've got the money, they've got the designer, the team principal, they've got they've got a driver who can get results for them. So
it is very much shit or bust. This set of rule changes. If they don't do it now, you can't see Aston Martin ever doing it because you know what else could they throw at it?
No,
well, even if they do, they'll end up being in Red Bull's position. They've only got one decent driver.
Yeah, well, they've got two now, but only one car that worked properly. How do you reckon Hadjar's going to get on?
Well, I was surprised
he be the one to break the Red Bull number 2 curse.
He was pressed, but he did say he's going for a win, at least. So,
of course.
I actually think this might help in this rule change because, you know, a lot of drivers are going to have to retrain their brain to drive these cars. So these rookies who only had one season of F1 haven't got as much brain.
Are these going to go back to more what Lewis likes, or is it still something he's going to have to work around?
Well, he's another big question mark, isn't he?
I wouldn't have thought that the last era was going to be totally against him, but he just didn't like the instability that it was all caused by the finite margins of the floor.
Could this be a sort of make or break for Lewis? Obviously, he's 40 years old now.
I don't think he can't have another season like he had last season. I think unless that Ferrari is an absolute shitbox, where you've got to be on a par with Leclerc, even if they're both trundling around 17th, 18th. You know, he's got to be on level.
Yeah, it's pretty much like you would expect between the Williams drivers. You expect them to be close together. If there's a gap of any sorts, then yeah. I think
he's got rid of Adami now, hasn't he? He's gone.
Yeah,
he's been booted out to the previous car testing program. I mean,
yeah, proves how much he's valued. Wow.
So new race engineer.
Replaced him yet?
Not yet.
I saw an AI generated image that it was Bono in a Ferrari outfit. There you go. That'll be all right.
Well, Bono's he's just moved to head of race engineering, isn't he? So he got promotion as well. So he's not leaving Mercedes. He's someone Lewis knows, I would have thought, or wants. Yeah. He's redesigned the steering wheel as well, hasn't he?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
to the more Mercedes-like. So he's starting to put things in there. So he's got no excuses, really.
No, it's a big year for him. 7 podiums for Leclerc last year, none for Lewis. I know he got the sprint win, obviously, but
His racing wasn't bad. I thought arguably he was better than Leclerc in a lot of races, but it's his qualifying that just kills him. And if you can't get that right, then he's never gonna go move forward, is he? So
He almost seemed to do a bit of a Bottas, though, didn't he? Where he burnt out his tyres too much. If he had the pace, the tyres went off too quick.
Yeah, it was strange. This is the man that's got the most wins and the most pole positions of anyone in Formula One. To see him struggle out in Q1 repeatedly in a Ferrari, crazy. But yeah, big year for him. Big year for Hadjar. Needs to prove himself and that he deserves that seat. The tricky thing with Red Bull, yeah, because the tricky thing with Red Bull, if it does fail, they've not really got anyone they can fall back on. They're not going to get Tsunoda back in. They're not going to get Lawson back in. Everyone else has walked off or gone to other teams. You've got Lindblad, but he's obviously unproven in the RB with the Racing Bulls. But I'm looking forward to seeing. He's quite a highly rated young guy, so I'm interested to see how he gets on.
Is Lawson now in the position where he's the Yuki, is now just the yard mark that
He's the yard
everyone's...
He reminds me of Gasly when they demoted Gasly. There's no going back. And he's going to have to prove himself this season and then find himself another home, I think.
Yeah. You don't go back to Toro Rosso and then back up to Red Bull, do you? Has anyone done that? I don't think anyone has.
No.
They've gone from Toro Rosso to Red Bull to Toro Rosso, or whichever guys they've been in, but not the other way around. Yeah, it's a big year for obviously him. Lindblad, the only rookie as well. I think a good year for Bortoletto. Needs to prove himself and that he has got the pace regularly to keep up with Hulkenberg, particularly now they're in a new car as well. But like I say, it could be very beneficial for the younger drivers who've only got a year or two behind them because they haven't got to change their driving style as much as they've been used to for years. So it could benefit, the likes of Hadjar in the Red Bull, which would be great to see him if he can challenge Max and challenge for wins. If that Ford engine can do it.
Yeah, we'll find out. When is the first race? March, isn't it? March something.
Yeah. Well, we've got some more testing coming up. Oh, not testing. Sorry, we've got some other bits and pieces, cars coming up. So there's image reveal for the Mercedes tomorrow, 23rd of January. The Ferrari and the Alpine. Mercedes launched the season on the 2nd of Feb. Williams 3rd of February. So I'll be marking the calendar on that one. 8th of Feb. The Cadillac
So
Super
Williams,
Bowl halftime show.
Is Williams livery the 3rd of February?
I would imagine so.
The private test is next week, isn't it? So I assume they'll be running the actual car there. Well, but that's private, isn't it? So they shouldn't be able. No one should be able to see it really. But there'll be people in the fences having videos, wouldn't there?
Yeah, they'll have a show car, I reckon. And then Cadillac 8th of February, and then the Aston Martin and the McLaren on the 9th of February. So they're coming around quite fast. But yeah, I think that's basically brings us to the end. Metal Jace, I'll be interested to see how Hadjar gets on against Max, particularly if Hadjar is asked to follow follow instructions mid-race, which he doesn't agree with. He doesn't like being told what to do. Very, very true. What
do you guys think of Cadillac sort of jabbing at Ford and how involved they are? And
it's far too early to really start throwing shade, isn't it, on people? Wait until you've actually done some mileage in your car first, because it could be an absolute shitbox. Who knows? Yeah, we'll certainly see. But that brings us to the end of our show this week. So it's very good to be back. First show of the year, of course. We'll be back nice and regularly throughout the year, looking ahead to the season and doing post races and whatnot, and who knows, maybe a little bit more. We'll have to have a word with the governor. But thank you very, very much for watching. Thank you for joining us again in this brand new year. We shall see you next week. We'll have a few more cars out by then as well, which we'll have to look at. So looking forward to that. Have a great week and take care. I've been Steve. He's been Neil. He's been Chris. We'll see you then. Cheers.